Do me a solid. Hop to the back of the car. Stop right there. Keep your hands on the trunk. Keep your hands on the trunk. Face away from us. Turn, face, keep your hands on the trunk, all right? Listen to me. Do not move. I'm going to approach you. If you move, you're going to be shot. Who has less lethal? Somebody take less lethal.
I got the car.
Don't run. That's the first thing you hear. Not good evening, not license and registration, just that. Sharp, aggressive, repeated like a warning that doesn't match the moment. Now, look closer. The man isn't moving. He's standing still beside his car, hands clearly visible, shoulders slightly raised, not in defiance but in confusion. The street is quiet, no flashing chaos, no crowd, just 3 officers surrounding one calm, unarmed man like he's seconds away from sprinting into the night. Ask yourself this: what do they see that we don't? Or worse, what are they trying to make us believe? That's where Amina Enfer, 29, comes in. She's sitting in her car across the street, still in her nurse scrubs after a long shift, exhausted, ready to go home. But something about this scene keeps her from turning the key in the ignition. At first, she assumes it's routine. Maybe the guy did something serious. Maybe there's context she's missing. But then she notices the details. The man, Daniel Kofi, 34, isn't acting like someone about to run. He's not scanning for exits, not shifting his weight, not even raising his voice. He looks confused. And the officers? They're tense, over-alert, repeating commands that don't fit the situation. Keep your hands where I can see them. Stay right there. Don't run. Why keep saying that if he hasn't moved? Amina feels it in her gut, that quiet, creeping feeling that something isn't right. So she does what most people hesitate to do. She picks up her phone and starts recording. That's when Daniel speaks, calm, controlled, almost too calm for what's happening. I already told you I'm not going anywhere. The words hang in the air, and instead of de-escalating things, it makes the officers tighten up even more. One of them steps forward suddenly, too fast, too close. Amina's grip on her phone tightens, because now it's obvious. This isn't about preventing someone from running. This is about control. And whatever's really going on here, they don't want it questioned. They definitely don't want it recorded. Then, just as Amina zooms in, she catches something she wasn't supposed to hear. One officer leans toward another and mutters under his breath, "Make sure he doesn't walk away." Wait, what? Not run. Walk away. That changes everything. Before we continue with this video, please like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell for updates. What if this was never about stopping someone from running, but stopping him from talking? Let's rewind just a few minutes earlier, before the tension, before the cameras, before everything started to feel wrong. Daniel had been driving home. Nothing unusual, no speeding, no erratic turns, just a quiet road and a broken taillight he didn't even know about. That's what triggered the stop. Simple, routine, harmless. At least it should have been. When the first patrol car pulled him over, Daniel complied immediately. Engine off, hands visible on the steering wheel, calm, respectful, everything you'd expect from someone who has nothing to hide. Because he didn't. Daniel Kofi, 34, a school teacher, no criminal history, known by neighbors as patient, soft-spoken, the kind of guy who helps carry groceries without being asked. So how did it escalate this fast? Amina watches from her car as the situation unfolds in fragments. At first, it's just one officer, Officer Briggs, 41. His tone is already sharp, already impatient. Not aggressive, but not normal either. Step out of the vehicle. Daniel complies, no hesitation. Then comes the second officer, Officer Kane, 36, arriving within moments. That's when the energy shifts. 2 officers for a taillight? Now the questions start stacking. Daniel asks calmly, "Is there a problem, officer?" No real answer, just commands. Step back, Keep your hands up. Don't move. It's subtle at first, but something isn't lining up. The commands contradict each other, the tone doesn't match the situation, and most importantly, they're not listening to him. Every time Daniel tries to speak, tries to understand, they cut him off, redirect him, silence him. Why? Amina zooms in further, her instincts sharpening. She notices Officer Kane slowly circling behind Daniel, not casually, but deliberately, like he's positioning himself. For what? Daniel hasn't resisted, hasn't raised his voice, not even taken a step out of line. And yet, they're preparing for something. That's when Daniel says something that shifts the entire mood. "I already checked my ID. You know who I am." There's a pause, a strange one. Not confusion, not surprise, recognition. But instead of explaining, clarifying, de-escalating, the officers go quiet, too quiet. Amina feels it, that invisible tension snapping tighter, and then she hears it, low, quick, almost hidden. Officer Briggs leans toward Kane and mutters under his breath, "Stick to the report." Wait, what? Not run? Walk away?
This just happened, so how is there already a story? Before she can process it, Daniel speaks again, this time louder, firmer. "This isn't what you wrote down earlier, is it?" And just like that, everything stops pretending to be normal. What happens when someone stops playing along and starts telling the truth out loud? The moment Daniel says it, "This isn't what you wrote down earlier, is it?" everything changes. You can actually feel it. The air tightens, the officers stiffen, and suddenly this calm, controlled stop turns into something urgent, something messy. Officer Kane steps forward fast, too fast. "Sir, stop resisting." Wait, what? Resisting? Did you see him move? Because Amina didn't. Her camera doesn't. Daniel is still exactly where he's been the entire time. Hands visible, body still, confusion written all over his face. "I'm not resisting," Daniel says, his voice steady but firmer now. "I haven't moved." But it doesn't matter. The officers start talking over him, louder, sharper, almost rehearsed. "Stop resisting. Put your hands behind your back. Don't make this worse." It's chaos, but not the kind that just happens, the kind that's created. Amina feels her heart pounding now because she's starting to understand what's going on. They're building a version of events right in front of her. A third officer arrives, Officer Lemaire, 33, stepping out of a second vehicle. He barely looks at Daniel before siding with the others. No questions, no hesitation. Hands behind your back, now. Daniel hesitates, but not in defiance, in disbelief. Why? What did I do? That single moment of hesitation is all they need. They grab him, not violently, but firmly enough to shift the power completely. His arms are pulled back, his body is pressed against the car. And again, louder this time, they shout, "Stop resisting!" Amina's camera catches everything, the stillness, the contradiction, the truth. And then Daniel says it, the sentence they didn't want him to say. "You stopped the wrong car. That's why you're doing this." Silence. Real silence this time. A crack in the script. The officers glance at each other, not confused, but exposed. And suddenly, everything makes sense. The repeated commands, the urgency, the refusal to answer questions. This was never about Daniel running. It was about them being wrong and not wanting to admit it. Officer Briggs leans in close, his voice low and sharp. "You're making this worse for yourself." But Daniel doesn't back down. For the first time, there's something different in his tone. Not fear, not anger, certainty. "No," he says quietly, "you already did that." The handcuffs come out, cold, final. As they snap shut around Daniel's wrists, Amina feels it. This isn't just a bad stop anymore. This is something deeper, something intentional. And just before they start walking him to the patrol car, her camera picks up one last thing. Officer Kane, under his breath, barely audible, "Make sure the body cams match." Wait, what match? What happens when the truth is finally caught on camera and the people who should uphold the law realize they're being watched? Amina's heart is racing. Her phone is steady in her hands, recording every second. She knows that what she captured isn't just a misunderstanding, it's evidence, proof, something the officers clearly did not anticipate. Daniel is being led to the patrol car, handcuffed but calm. His face shows tension, yes, but also relief. Relief that someone, anyone, is seeing what's really happening. Amina steps out of her car slowly, carefully. She doesn't want to escalate, but she needs to be seen. She calls out firmly, "Everything's being recorded." For a split second, the officers freeze. The sudden awareness of an audience, someone outside their circle, throws them off balance. Officer Briggs, ever the control freak, approaches her, calm, controlled, trying to reclaim authority. "Ma'am, please step back. This is an active situation." But Amina doesn't. She holds her ground. "I saw everything," she repeats. Now the dynamic shifts. It's no longer just Daniel versus the officers. It's truth versus narrative. The officers exchange quick glances. Tension radiates from them like electricity. They're caught between their own story and what's being documented in real time. Officer Lemaire raises his voice, almost theatrically. "Suspect attempted to flee. We had to restrain him." Amina's camera catches everything. The stillness, the contradiction, the truth. And now, Daniel says it, the one thing they didn't want him to say. "Check your dispatch logs. You'll see the mistake." Amina lowers her phone slightly, absorbing the weight of what just happened. This isn't over, not by a long shot, but the tide has turned. The truth isn't just on her camera, it's in the official system. The officers' attempts to rewrite reality are now vulnerable. The tension lingers, palpable. Everyone knows this encounter is going to be reviewed, dissected, and questioned. Daniel's calm defiance has exposed more than a mistake. It has exposed the fear, the control, and the lies of those sworn to protect. The street grows quiet again, but this quiet carries a sense of inevitability. What Daniel said, what Amina captured, it's only the beginning. The consequences are about to unfold. The aftermath hits fast. Within 48 hours, Amina's footage circulates through internal channels, social media, and news outlets. Everyone who sees it notices the same thing. Daniel never resisted. The officers' actions don't match their report. The commands were unnecessary. The tension was manufactured. The narrative they tried to control is unraveling right in front of her lens. Dispatch logs confirm it. Daniel's car wasn't the suspect car at all. Same model, slightly different license plate. The officers had made a mistake. Instead of owning it, they tried to justify their behavior after the fact. Their body cam footage doesn't align with their written reports. Their claims of resistance are exposed as false. Every question from the beginning, the commands, the tension, the whispers about stick to the report, now has an answer. They were covering up an error, escalating unnecessarily, and manipulating the narrative to protect themselves. Daniel is released the next morning. No charges, no marks, but the weight of the encounter lingers. He sits at home, hands still shaking slightly, thinking about how close it came to going really wrong. In a quiet interview, he admits, "I kept wondering if I moved the wrong way, would I make it home?" Relief washes over him, but the trauma isn't gone. Amina, watching him finally safe, feels a mix of vindication and heartbreak, pride that she documented the truth, and the sobering reality of how fragile justice can be when authority goes unchecked. Internal investigations follow. Officer Briggs is suspended pending review. Officer Kane faces disciplinary action for false reporting. Officer Lemaire is reassigned. The department issues a carefully worded public statement, but the damage is done. Community trust takes a hit, protests begin, and discussions about accountability ripple through local forums and news segments. Amina's recording becomes more than evidence. It becomes a symbol of the need for transparency and oversight. The officers' attempts to rewrite reality are now vulnerable. Weeks later, Daniel returns to teaching. He's quieter, more guarded, but resolute. He walks through his classroom doors with a renewed understanding of his vulnerability and his resilience. Amina continues documenting life, more aware than ever of the thin line between authority and abuse of power. She knows one thing for certain: sometimes the most dangerous moment isn't when someone runs, it's when they don't,
And even then, they're treated like they already did. But now, with truth recorded and shared, justice has a chance to catch up. Closure arrives not with dramatic arrests or confrontation, but with accountability, exposure, and the restoration of a man's dignity.